you are here again listening to Girl Who Don't You Know. It is Marilyn Green. I am the THEE, the hostess with the mostest. And today, wow, I am recording one, two, three, four, five women, including myself, that took part in a book that is called Stuck Is Not Your Story. I hope you can see it. What did it say? I overcame and I am victorious. And we did this in 2022. And since then, I wanted to have a reunion. So I brought it back together, everybody. And the person who got this dream or got this vision or say, hey, I'm going to do a doggone thing is none other than Noreen Henry. And Noreen, I see you there. Tell us, where did this dream come from? How did you bring us together? Tell us what's going on.
First of all, thank you for having us, and thank you for this vision of doing the reunion of the
Yes.
Stuff Is Not Your Story authors. So that's a wonderful thing that you're doing. I'm Noreen N. Henry, and this came about because I was just directed by God. That's how
Amen.
this came about, and I just followed the leading of it, and I believe it. Part of it is for the reader to know that they're not alone and that they too can change, and that the reader could be going through stuff and not realizing that they're stuck. And as they read our stories, they can say, hey, wait a minute, that's what I'm going through. And then get the encouragement to know that they can change, they can do something about it. But it was led by God, so I was just doing what I was led to do.
I love that. I mean, we always need to give God the glory because when I decided to say, yeah, I will give a very brief account of my how I got my brave heart, right? And I said, you know what, it is time for me to tell my story. So
Mhm.
I believe that this actual project was letting people tell their story, and letting people to heal, because the stories that we put in here, to me, is about healing. And you said something about the idea of a reunion. I mean, I actually was saying, you know what, I think it would be great if we can further promote the book, which I'll say you can get on Amazon.com. Okay, I'll throw it in there. Further promote the book, and also to see you were stuck, you got unstuck, and
Mhm.
sometimes we might go back and get stuck again and get unstuck. So I'm just trying to find
Yeah.
out what happened. You know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna start off with Priscilla. Tell me, you said in your area, you said you was a victim. So tell me, are you still being victimized, or what's going on? Tell us the story.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm no longer stuck. I'm still on my
Mm.
healing journey,
Okay.
but there's different things that I'm healing from, but no longer the victim.
Mhm.
During that time, and I thank God for Noreen as well, because I didn't know how to process my story, because I had lived in that for so long of being the victim, coming out of the divorce, and still have the resonance of what I went through, to the fact that I was an angry woman, the angry Black woman, and I had 6 children. And what stuck out to me the most is, I think in the chapter that I wrote about, was that there was a young lady that my kids went to daycare with, and I
Mhm.
would go in to get them, and the director would send this young lady out because I wasn't the type of person that they wanted to deal with, because I was so
Mhm.
saturated with the anger, with the woe is me, and kept telling the same story over and over again. And it was what he did, until I learned, what did you do? You know, what
Mhm.
did you do? And
Yes.
now in the process of my healing, I understand that it was the things that I allowed to happen to me that I participated in.
Mhm.
So I'm no longer I'm no longer the angry woman. I'm still going with the healing process, learning what did I do and how did I play the part of being the victim and staying in that mental mindset of being the victim and wanting people to feel sorry for me when I should have did the work. I should have worked on me. I should have looked at the situation in a different light
Yeah.
instead of participating in my being victimized and allowing it and not seeing the other part of that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that because being a victim is a victim. And I love the part where you said, "What did I do?" And that kind of speaks to, I'm going to say, all of us,
Yeah,
what did
yeah,
I
yeah,
do in this whole
yeah.
situation? Because so many times, what do they say? You point the finger, right?
Hmm.
And, but so many times, instead of you getting the lesson to be learned, in the midst of all this is where I found, and I believe you found, because you had to figure out, I'm just angry, okay? And my
Hmm.
sons gave me a shirt. It's so funny, and it has on that current mood, and it said angry, 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 angry. It's got angry on. It's got it's got angry on every part of it. Meaning, my current mood is always angry, and so I understand what you're talking about because I think that I am always angry, or let me just say I'm always half cocked, meaning I'm gonna go off on you. Okay. So I'm still working through my stuff too, but I
Mhm.
appreciate the fact that you just being honest and transparent, and most of all being accountable. That
Right.
you got some stuff too. I tell people your stuff stank, my stuff stank. We all stank, okay? So get that, get that in your head and you'll be okay.
Right.
So that's good. That's what I want to hear about this reunion, that you have moved past.
Right.
Okay. And I love when you said, I'm still healing, and we all
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
We
It's
all
a
are.
lifetime
Yeah,
journey.
it's a process.
Yeah. It is a
Yes.
process.
It's a process, and sometimes it's almost like a tango dance. You boom, 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 boom,
Hmm.
boom, 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 boom. But
Yeah.
it's about, hey, I'm just gonna keep on rap. Yes, you're right, Joy. It's a up and a down. It's a roller coaster type thing. But the most important thing is that I am not stuck anymore.
That's
Right.
I'm
right.
just not
Yes,
stuck.
Right.
It's a difference in being
that part.
stuck and stuck. But you stuck and unstuck, stuck and unstuck. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Right,
Right.
right,
process.
right,
Hmm.
right,
So yeah, certain
right.
things still to trigger you. So let's just be real. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So Joy, you said you chose Joy. Tell us about that. What's going on? You still stuck, or you doing it too? You doing that dance?
Well, you know what? I'm not stuck in that the place that I was speaking to in the book. It was kind of funny that when I choose joy, right? I get to play with the word joy. My
Yes.
name is Joy, and we're here to experience joy on this earth, right? And bring about joy in others, and bring about the most joy that we can experience in the very short time we have. So, not being in the everything's perfect and bunnies and clouds all the time, but in reality, we're not always happy and joyful. But
No.
having the tools, right?
Mhm,
That's where,
mhm,
just like Priscilla said, just like you said, Marilyn, that yes, you've been through that, but now you have tools to go back and say, all right,
mhm.
I know I'm
Yeah.
angry. I know I'm in a place where I feel stuck, but I have the tools now to take out the toolbox, and I can manage the anger. I can manage the depression. I can
Mhm,
manage
mhm.
and then process and find the joy again. So just like the ebbs and flows, just like the ups and downs, same thing with joy. Just it's a part of life. I'm constantly rediscovering myself. I'm
Right.
constantly finding space to create joy because it's not just automatic, right? We don't just walk
Hmm.
into a joyful mood. I would love that, but it takes work, just like anything else. So, no, I'm not stuck now. I'm getting ready to graduate. I will be a scholar in a week from now.
Oh,
Yeah,
congrats, congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really excited. That's, not staying stuck, not saying, you know what, I'm too old for this or I can't do this
Mhm.
anymore. No, I'm choosing what I want to experience, and that's bringing me another level of joy. I'm a scholar now. I get to share that with my children. I sent my son,
Mhm.
that's 29, a picture of me in my cap and gown. He said, "That's right, mom. You're making something for
Mhm.
yourself." And he's a disabled young man. So he
Okay.
even sees the excitement on his mom's face and knows that
Yes.
I chose not to stay stuck. And we can all do it. We can all be a joy and a light to others. So, no, I'm not stuck. I'm finding my joy every day like we all are.
Yep, I love that. I'm always loving on stuff for real, but I do love it for real. Okay, so, but it's important to know. It's important to know that I'm just not gonna be stuck. Anymore. And I love that because I follow you on Facebook, and trust me, she be everywhere. Okay, thank you. She be everywhere. I mean, I think you was in Hawaii. Where were you, Joy? Somewhere.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
married in Hawaii. So I was sharing some memories from that 4-year anniversary was on the 13th, so just a few days ago.
Yes.
And, that's what it is, creating memories, creating joy.
Yep. And you're right. You don't wake up all the time and say, I'm gonna be joyful.
Mhm.
Okay. You want that joy, but I'm just gonna say you gotta fight for the joy. Because
Yeah.
guess what
Yeah.
I know? It's always something in your head on another channel. All right. It's on another channel and you have to really fight, right? It's just not, I was stuck and I'm not stuck, as we just said. But you really have to fight to change that channel.
Yeah.
And it might be a fight all through the day because you don't know who's gonna come and they gonna trigger you. I'll just say for me, Priscilla, an angry woman. Okay. I don't know. So I'm gonna always have to use to be emotionally intelligent enough to say, no, I don't think so. It's even to the point I might say, I'll give you another chance to say what you said, okay?
Mhm.
Because of the way you said it at first, I'm not taking it well.
Those
But
boundaries.
yes, it's about the boundaries, and we had to find our boundaries of being stuck and
Mhm.
unstuck. So that's a great thing. But congratulations on that, Joy. You moving and you shaking, you moving and you shaking. And you know what, Taze, did I pronounce it right? Yep, you did. Hey, you know what? I wanted you on here so bad that I said, you know what? I did want you on here bad. And we had such a good time last time, but I talk about you a lot to my friends. And I said, can you even imagine a child who had problems with hair when weaves wasn't popular? You know? Can you
Mhm.
imagine that? And how you had to go, like now you super stylish, okay? With that head like that, you super stylish. You like, woo,
Right.
she bold, she brazen. We love it on her. She bold.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay. But yeah. Now they salute you and they say, "Oh, that's good, girl. I couldn't have done that
Mhm.
thing." They look up to you as a role model almost, if you
Right.
will. But back then, I cannot imagine what you had to go through. And I'm sure, as we all have here, we have adverse child experiences, okay,
Yeah.
from all the trauma of
Yeah.
life. So tell me what you doing now, girl. We want to know what you doing. You got the sexy bald head, and what you doing with it, girl? Tell us. Okay, you
Mute.
are muted. Are you muted? I think you muted.
Okay, you hear me now?
I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just excited and thank you for the opportunity, and
Yes.
also Noreen too, because whew, being a part of that was such an amazing healing process for me. You guys just don't even know.
Mhm.
And it was a struggle even finishing because I almost quit. She don't know, but I almost quit. And
What?
it was just the day before writing that chapter, I was in a battle. I had two friends, one in Oregon, one in Apopka, Florida. They was praying me through. It's just like that
Mhm.
pain did not want to let
Mhm.
me go.
Oh.
Mm.
And it was a battle. And I just thank God that I was able to persevere. And once
Mhm.
I
finished that chapter. It was a day before it was due. It's just like it was a freedom that came over me. And that's the same day I went and just shaved it all off. And my best friend,
Oh,
who had long hair all the way to her backside, she said, "You didn't wait for me." It was just like I was so happy for that relief. She said, "Hurry up, I got to get myself together." She rushed to the barbershop. She's on the Pacific Coast. I'm here in Florida. And we did it at the same time. And she kept her hair shaved for 6 months in solidarity with me. And when he shaved my
oh,
head, it was just like, whoa. It was like I was free. And I ain't never going
Mm.
back. She saying, "You want to wear a
Nice,
wig
nice.
again?" No, because stuck is not my story. That I see me for the first time. I see me as God sees me. I no
yes.
Mm.
longer feel small, so I command my day. When I walk in the room, I change and shift atmosphere because of the spirit of God that's within me. And
Yes,
this is the piece that opens the door for me to share my story. Stuck is not my story, and it's not.
wow. I told you I
Praise
wanted
God.
you bad, girl, because I cannot fathom. You know what I'm saying? I wanted you bad because the Bible says that the hair is a woman's glory, I believe,
Yep.
and so I just can see myself wrestling like, wow, is the glory gone? What's going on here? I just could not see it, but I think you have embraced it. And I'm glad you told us that at the last minute because the enemy was fighting you up to the last day before you was going to
Yep.
get the release. Wow,
Yep.
wow. So let me ask you this: or do you go further now and try to motivate women about just being who you are? How do you handle that now? What are you doing? Motivational? I know you said
Well,
something about a minister. What you doing?
I minister on a prayer line at least sometimes twice a week. That's international, all the way in Africa, all the way in Netherlands, called We Believe God Prayer and Devotional Line. It's was founded by my sister on a family tragedy that happened to my son. Then God gave us the okay. It's been going on for 6 years strong, and she
Hmm.
uploads it on TikTok, Facebook, and Spotify and all the things. So I just let the Lord use me and just been given opportunities to speak on and minister on different platforms. So that's what all I've been doing.
Okay, okay. But I just see such great things for you to help people or women to just accept who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because I say it again, I just can't imagine as a little kid. Okay. And kids, I mean, they was bullying back then. They bullying and killing themselves now, but they was bullying. You
Yeah.
just have to learn how to bully back. Okay. So it was and what you can go tell your mama, but you gonna have to go to school the next day. You better bully back. That's what I told my son. You better bully
Yeah.
back. Okay. If they bullying you, you 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 better bully back, because kids are cruel. And
Mm.
just imagine,
Yeah.
you guys as her not being able to manage it. How do I cope with this? Every day I got to go to school. I'm supposed to be learning, but somebody might be talking about me, or I got to do this and I got to. Oh my God! Ugh. That's why I said she got to come on here, Taze. I said I don't know. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna find her. Okay. I did. Thank you so much for that, for being so true and
You're
transparent and
welcome.
accountable. Noreen, I'm getting all the way back to you and tell us about emotional eating. Okay, because I really suffer from that for COVID-19. Okay, and I still got the 20 pounds to show for it. Okay, emotionally, emotionally, I was messed up. So tell me, how did you overcome that? What was your formula?
Before we get to that, I just wanted to go back to what Priscilla was saying,
Okay.
with everybody, because um, in order to change, we have to be aware that something's wrong, something's off. So if we're not aware, we can't do anything about it. So I just wanted to share that. Like I hear people will say things like, say, like if you're in a relationship and they'll say, "Oh, you saw the red flags," but if you don't know that that's red flags, how do you know to do something about it? And
Right.
so I actually now I can't stand to hear when people say that, "Oh, there was red flags," but you don't know, because I talk about that in one of my stories, right? Because if you don't know, you don't know. If you don't know,
Yeah.
you cannot do anything. So it starts with awareness. And so that's what, when Priscilla was telling her story, that's what came to me. Like, she wasn't aware, but she was a victim while she was going through. Right? At some point we get to realize, wait a minute, we get the awareness, right? And I believe this comes from God, right? Because
Yes.
otherwise we would stay stuck. We would continue to stay stuck. So I just wanted to bring that point out,
Oh
that
no,
we
that's a
have to be
great point to
aware.
bring out, Noreen, because you're right. How do you know that your toe is hurt unless it start hurting? Okay, for real. Okay, how do you know? That something is going on with me. Because I know this, being in the relationship I was in, the drugs, the alcohol, all that and stuff. When you are going through with the drugs and the alcohol, the whole family going through. Okay. If that person is acting bizarre and wild, you're acting bizarre and wild too. You don't know it. You don't
Right,
recognize it
right.
until that person is no longer around. Right? I can remember my ex-husband and stuff, with the drugs and stuff, like I would always have to keep my purse close to me, right?
Mm.
So when he finally got kicked out, I did that. Okay, I did that. When he finally got kicked out, my purse, I said this. Did this tell you? I said, man, I don't even know where my purse is.
Oh.
Oh
I
wow.
did not know in the house. You know what I'm saying? But other
Mm-hmm.
than that, it'd be right up under me. Okay. So I was just in a crazy behavior
Mm-hmm.
type thing that I
Mm-hmm.
normalized. And
That's it.
I got to hold his purse. That was normal, right? Until I kicked him, I said, wait, that was just plain dumb and crazy. Why did I get here? But I was trying to cope and make everything okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't okay, and I had to slowly move myself back to what is okay. I struggle with in my chapter of working so hard. I still struggle with the survival
Mm-hmm.
mode. Today I was just talking about, I'm like, I need to shut down and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm almost 70 and I'm still going with the work. Always trying to put stuff in there, so I'm still struggling with after almost 20 some odd years. So yeah. Yeah. But Noreen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just jump in there,
No,
but
it's okay. It's okay.
I was just saying
Well, my
that stuff had me gone and I didn't even know I was gone, and you gotta realize that you're gone before you can come back. Right.
yeah,
So yeah.
'cause-
So tell us about this emotional eating. I'm telling you, I
yeah,
got to fight that off too. That's another thing. Okay, but go ahead.
right. But what it was is functioning in the dysfunction, right?
Yes.
That's what it was, functioning in the dysfunction. So my chapter is called "Unstuck from Emotional Eating and Food Addiction," and so I developed um, emotional eating is because it's many years ago now. And when I was developing it, I didn't know I didn't even know there was a name for it, right? I didn't know I was doing
Right.
anything. I didn't realize what I was doing, but at some point I learned there's a name for what I was doing, right? And so I was eating emotionally because there was something going on inside of me, right? And even that I didn't know. I didn't know it was because of I was doing that because I was not happy in the relationship I was in. And so after a while, I learned that there's a name for it. So then now I started to study. I started to study about it and learn about it, and that's how I got free from it. Learning about it,
Mhm.
learning the different things to do. And so instead of going for food, think about something else. Like go and do something else. Like what same thing Joy's talking about. We have the tools. Once we overcome and go through, we have the tools, and now it turns around that we help other people. But that's what it was. So I learned the tools, and there was a point where I was questioning, like, where did it even come from?
Yeah.
Right? Where did the because it starts off with emotional eating, and then it goes into other things, right? Binge eating, eating for no reason, all these different things. Eating just be passing the food, like when I was at the job, passing, they had food laid out like on the counter, passing it and just picking it up. So emotional eating started with one thing, but then it developed into other things, right?
Mm.
And so I got delivered from the emotional eating. So why am I still eating? It's because of these other things. So it's layers, right?
Oh.
Layers of undoing, all these different things that came about as a result of emotional eating. So it turned into food addiction. It turned
Wow.
into food addiction. So then when I questions, whenever I ask a question, I always get the answer. So it came from, this is why it's so important what we put in us, what we listen to. It came from watching TV.
Oh.
There was a show years ago I used to watch. I think it was Who's the Boss? I think something like that. Um, and every time something was wrong, they ate. So
Oh,
that's what God
really?
showed me. That's where it came from. That's where because before I developed emotional eating, if anything was wrong, I wouldn't eat. And
What?
then it switched to emotional eating. So that's where it actually came from. So that's why we have to be so careful what we put inside of us, because that got into my spirit. And so that's how I
Mm.
developed emotional eating. And so today I don't emotional eat, and I've been undoing the layers. Like I've done different courses. I did a course called Never Binge Again, and um, so many different things which helps me to overcome it.
Yeah, I
So I
love
don't.
that.
So it's been a journey for me. Like some people, um, like you see it in my story, like because people didn't understand because I was suffering in silence as well. Right? Nobody knew that I was suffering until I actually wrote my story. Food addiction, the struggle has been real, and more to it. There's more to it. So like years later, how come up? Like, because one of the things with me, I don't like the size of my body because I gained weight because of the emotional eating and everything else that happened. So why is it the weight? I don't emotional eat anymore. So why isn't the weight coming off? You know what God showed me?
What?
The former spouse used to say to me, um, "You see food and you eat." Right? That's what he said to me because he didn't like, the excess weight on my body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what was playing in my subconscious.
Wow.
That's
You
what was
know,
playing in my
I mean,
subconscious. So
wow, Noreen, you unpacking so much stuff. My God, okay. I mean, it's just explosive to me. I'm like, oh my goodness,
Those belief
because
systems.
whenever we're listening to somebody, I don't know if y'all like me. I've been like, oh wait, maybe should I put this in my toolkit or what she's saying? Because
mhm,
this eating thing is real. Because I'm gonna
it
tell you
is.
something. When things on my nerve, I'm going for crunchy Cheetos. Okay, crunchy Cheetos is my a drug of choice. When I I just, I just need some crunchy Cheetos. And some people said, Maryland, this one friend of mine said, Maryland, I need some crunchy Cheetos. Okay. Because it's that anxiety that comes in that makes me want some crunchy Cheetos, you know. But we
You're not
really
alone.
have to unpack ourselves. We full
Yeah,
of
yeah.
adverse
It's
childhood
layers.
experience. We full. We just really full. When you think you done got out of one, here come another one. When you think
That's
you
right.
out of this, here come another one. But like you said, Joy and Noreen, if you don't have these tools in order to
Yeah.
change the story or change that, that the channel, okay, you can be stuck again. But you stuck, and but Noreen, you done made me think I might be stuck in something else, okay, and don't even know I'm stuck in. I'm going. I'm gonna have to do some soul searching after I end this thing. Now, my goodness, I better go get me some crunchy Cheetos because I'm feeling some anxiety coming.
That's so true. Always something.
Because it's like you overcome something, right? And then, like you said, something else comes up. So that's why, because I'm like, why is it still such a struggle, right? I don't emotionally eat anymore, right? It's because and it came to me because it was one night my son came home and he gave me a piece of cake, right? And
Okay.
then I ate it, right? And then after I ate it, I'm like, but why didn't I put it away and eat it tomorrow? So that's what came to my spirit, the words that were said to me, right? You
Ah,
see food and you eat it, right?
oh,
So then once learning that, now I can do something about it.
wow, wow. Hey, you know
Hmm.
what? You know what? We only got so many seconds to talk, and I be getting mad nowadays. I'm like, my son, like, Mom, podcasts need to be 30 minutes, Mom. But this stuff be getting good at the 30. Okay.
So we
After
need a
30
reunion
minutes,
number two.
huh?
We need a reunion number two with some of
We
the other
need to do
layers.
something because this is just so freaking healthy.
Yeah.
Yes. More
Maybe
healing.
it's just me, but hey, I'm gonna go around again. And here's the question. if you could say something to somebody out there that may be struggling, such as yourself, and still stuck, what would you say to them? So I'm going to start with you all the way down. I'm like Hollywood Squares, Miss Priscilla. Tell me, what would you tell them if they are struggling? That victim, I'm the victim. Okay, what would you tell them?
What I found is be yourself. We sometimes want to be what other people expect us to be, what they need us to be, and
Mm-hmm.
we cower down and we make ourselves small to fit into their world, their perception of who we are. But if we learn to be ourselves, no matter what situation that you're in, no matter what environment that you're in, be true to yourself. And my favorite quote is from William Shakespeare: "Above all things, to thy own self be true." You got to
Yeah,
be true to yourself first before you can be true to everybody else.
that's true. And that's mine. That's a favorite of mine too. That own self be true. And that guides me all the time because when people be acting crazy, I'm jumping in. I'm sorry. When people be acting crazy, I said, Marilyn, to thy own self be true. Just say, look, I ain't doing that. Y'all gonna jump off the cliff or whatever, but I ain't following you. Okay. To my own
Right.
self be true. I'm
To
saying,
my own
but
self be
thank
true.
you. That our own self be true. Thank you, Priscilla. Miss Joy, I'm all the way up at the top. Tell me what's up. Tell me.
We're up here. I'm going to piggyback on Miss Priscilla. Being true to yourself requires for you to deeply love yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
have to know, love yourself, and then want to know yourself. And that was something Noreen talked about, finding out who I am, what is going on within me that is causing me to do this or to feel this way. Or you have to know, just like we want to know everything about Real Housewives, or we want to know all the juice and all the tea. Are we getting to know and love ourselves and loving? And when we find things that aren't so great, that don't feel so good, but still finding a way to love and accept and apply grace. And it's a process with everything else.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love that, Joy. Okay, Miss Taze, come on, round to you. Sexy ball head lady. Go ahead, sexy. Go ahead, sexy. Okay.
Mute. Mute.
You're on mute. Okay, go for it.
So mute.
Oh, you're on mute again. What's wrong with you? Let me see if I can. I can't even unmute you. Okay, okay,
Okay,
you good.
you hear me?
You good. We gonna hear you. We going to hear
Um,
you. Okay.
it's the same thing. I just have to piggyback. I had to learn how to love me because I didn't love me because my self esteem was so damaged from young, and traumatized that I let other people's perception guide how I felt about myself. And today I no longer do that. I'm true to myself.
Oh,
And I love me today. And I know that God did not make no mistake, even with the
that's
alopecia.
right.
You know, uh, this has been a tool to minister to people on all different levels or all different types of trauma. So loving you and being true to yourself, that's the key.
That's right, Miss Priscilla. You didn't jumped it off. Okay, everybody gonna say to thy own self be true. You know, I'm loving me some me. Okay, Miss Noreen. Okay, tell us what's up.
Well, to continue on, we have to value ourselves, right? We have to learn to value ourselves because the relationship I was stuck in is because part of it was because I didn't know my value, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of it. We have to learn to value ourselves, and then we don't get stuck in these crazy situations, right? And then there's always hope. There's
Hmm.
always hope, and we have to do something different. If we don't do anything different, nothing changes. And to me, it actually gets worse. Right. And so one of my favorite quotes is, it's not death that man should fear, but fear never beginning to live. That we need to
Yes.
live. Choose life, as the word says.
I love that. Hey, hey, of course, you know I'm agree with all y'all. I ain't got to say nothing. Y'all done said it, okay? I mean,
Praise
only the words that came to me was Al Green's song, Love and Happiness, okay? That's the only thing I could think of. But look, this has been so much fun, and we will do this again. Go ahead, Noreen. You two want
Now,
to
I
say?
just wanted to say that for anybody listening to get the
Yes,
book from any author,
from
your
any
favorite
author.
author, go
right?
get the book.
Or Amazon.com, wherever. Just get the book, you know. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, hey, you have been listening to Girl Who Don't You Know, okay? And I'm telling you, I know Priscilla, I know Joy, I know Taze, and I know Noreen. And most of all, they say about knowing yourself, and I do know myself, okay? I'm Marilyn Green, okay? The hostess with the mostest. And remember, you guys, you all need to like and subscribe and notification bell and do all that, because hey, if you see these lovely ladies here, I'm going to have a pack of other people coming up this year. So until next time, we are signing off, and peace. Thanks so much.